police interrupting a house-breaking ring. Grand Bahamians giving their take on medical marijuana. And young girls participating in a purity camp.
The Bahamas Tonight Northern Edition starts now.
This is the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. Good evening, all. I'm Megan Shepard. Thank you so much for tuning in. Topping news, police say they have cracked a house-breaking ring in the Freeport Lucaya area. Intelligence-led operation uncovered a quantity of stolen items and 3 suspects believed to be involved.
A number of items on display at the Jarrell Bartlett Police Headquarters Friday afternoon after 3 Bahamian men were taken into custody in reference to housebreaking and stealing. Officer in charge of the Central Detective Unit, Superintendent Bryant Roll, says that a team of officers from CDU, CIB, Lucaya Police Station, and the Rapid Response Unit are to be commended for excellent police work.
These 2 males ranging from ages 31 to 40 were part of a ring that had plundered a number of homes throughout the Grand Bahama district. During the past month, since coming into custody, they have assisted us in the recovery of a number of items that you see in front of you: televisions, power tools, compressors, phones, laptops, tablets, etc.
Superintendent Roll says that approximately 13 homes were targeted during these house-breaking incidents. He is reminding residents to remain vigilant of their surroundings and to ensure that their homes are always properly secured.
We suggest you put a marking on the item, you record your serial number. I'll even give you a little bit more advice that I personally to myself. Take those serial numbers that you record, put them through an email, send them maybe to a family member, or save them in the draft, because if you put it on a laptop and just save it on the laptop, the laptop can go missing. You can get bars to put bars in your home. Some persons find that unattractive. You can put the type of windows that wouldn't allow easy access someone to get in. You can put cameras up so you can, even away from home, you can be watching what's going on in your premises. And then you can also make sure secure your places when you leave, because in plenty of incidents we find persons might have the right type of window, they might have the right type of door, but they go and they leave something unlocked, and the persons get in through that means. And then, as I mentioned earlier, on the flip side of that is being able to know your items. That's important, because we've had incidents where we've had loads of stuff and persons were not able to identify what was theirs.
Roll is thanking the public for their continued support and their assistance in helping to make Grand Bahama a safe place. He is admonishing residents to use wisdom when purchasing goods.
If you're offering a television, which is a 60-inch television, you're being offered for sale from someone for, say, $100. We all know that a 60-inch television is not going to cost $100. So as much as we want to speak against the criminals who may be removing these items from home, we also want to speak to those persons who go and purchase these items, knowing quite well that more likely these items are stolen.
Superintendent Roll says that investigations are continuing into this matter and that officers are looking for other persons who may be related to this house-breaking ring.
A man is dead following a traffic accident on Abaco. The mishap occurred on Saturday afternoon on Queen Highway, Sandy Point, involving a gray 1998 Nissan Altima and a male pedestrian. The pedestrian was transported to the government clinic in Sandy Point by private vehicle. He was later airlifted to New Providence for further medical attention. However, the victim succumbed to his injuries on Thursday. Police are actively investigating this matter. Several events on the lineup for the rest of the month in observance of the country's 45th anniversary of independence. The majority of festivities are slated for these. Tonight, an Independence cultural show is scheduled for this evening at the Government Park in High Rock. Next Saturday, July 21st at 12 noon, the Independence Committee will host a youth splash at the Government Park in High Rock. And then on Saturday, July 28th, the Wall of Fame will be unveiled at Gold Rock Creek in East End. The Freeport City Local Government Council doing its part to endorse backyard farming. One representative is leading the way as she hopes to promote a healthy lifestyle for all. Kimberly Mullings has the details.
This was a campaign promise that I made a commitment to start backyard farming.
Central Grand Bahama Councilor Frazette Gibson says the cost of living and groceries are high enough in the Bahamas, and she believes that people need to sustain themselves in a more healthy way. That is why she's kicking off her backyard farming initiative, providing residents within the constituency with startup kits for their yards, including potted trees, buckets, bales, rails, rakes, seedlings, and then some.
We have an assortment of seeds, shovels, trolleys that they can prepare the ground with. We have pots, potting soils, fertilizers, and we also presented some trees today, some cocoa plums, peppers, sweet peppers, tomatoes, thymes.
Each quarter, Councilor Gibson will donate 15 backyard farming startup kits to residents in Central Grand Bahama. She says it was fairly easy to choose the first group.
Most of them are always in the yard, so if you're doing walkabouts in your communities, you will know who is interested in the yard. And I look at retirees, persons that are home, who have the time and the green thumb to do the planting, to do the harvesting. And so that was my selection. Even Facebook, because they will say, oh, I just grew up pineapple, and that's how I selected my last recipient.
Avid gardener Marva Moxie is among this quarter's recipients. She was more than excited about the initiative.
I have cocoa plum, thyme. I see all kinds of seeds that I'm just excited to get into the ground and to see what happens.
Chief Counsel for the City of Freeport, Kendall Comer, was on hand for the donation and says he's looking forward to starting a backyard farming program within the Marco City constituency.
There's one where persons can actually get out in the yard, get some exercise. One, they will be able to provide food for themselves, and depending on how good their green thumb is, the possibility of making some money is there also.
Kimberly Mullings, ZNAS Network News.
In other news, the legalization of marijuana for medical purposes discussed at the CARICOM Heads of Government meeting in Jamaica earlier this month. Since then, the nation's leader has stated that the cabinet will, on Monday, discuss the formation of a committee which will present the Regional Commission on Marijuana's report to the public and gauge sentiments. Today, Kimberly Mullings took to the streets to find out the views of residents on the issue.
A number of people are discussing the legalization of marijuana in the Bahamas as it remains a hot topic following the Prime Minister's visit to Jamaica earlier this month. ZNS News asked residents in Grand Bahama, as long as adequate research is done with supporting evidence that it works, do you believe that marijuana should be legalized for medicinal purposes in the Bahamas? We got a number of interesting responses. Some still have some thinking to do and are on the fence, but shared their primary views.
For me, it is still an illegal drugs, and I don't know, but perhaps others have their views as to why they think it should be legalized. But for me, if the evidence is there, then I would say to each his own.
Well, I don't really fully understand all the aspects of marijuana being legalized, but I think it's a good step in the right direction for the Bahamas.
What?
Marijuana.
How I feel about it? Yeah. It's not I mean, as long as it's for medical purposes, I have no objections to it.
Medical marijuana, I feel like if you need to do it, do it.
Some believe that marijuana is merely a recreational drug, but should be legalized if there is proof that it can be used medically.
Medical marijuana, I say in my opinion, it's a no-no. I don't know why they would want to implement that. We've seen in the past what people who are high on cloud nine can do. That doesn't help us at all. But if there's evidence, of course.
Another Bahamian thinks that the success of medicinal marijuana, if any, will be short-lived and shouldn't be legalized.
I haven't seen any proof where it help, because people still dying, and they've been around here for some time. But I don't agree with it, because to me, we will find a way of destroying whatever goodness in it.
Another resident believes that enough research on the benefits of medicinal marijuana has been done already, and the Caribbean region is far behind on the legalization of marijuana for the wrong reasons.
There's a lot of politics involved why it has not been legalized yet.
see. They're trying to drive this to a certain section of the society to control it, and that's all it's about. It's not just a smoking. And this is a concept that a lot of people have, the misconception that a lot of people have. They think it's just a smoking. Marijuana, smoke. That's a lot of people's idea of it. Okay? Now, like I said, medical marijuana, there are extracts from it that can be used.
Kimberly Mullings, ZNS Network News.
You're watching the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. Don't go away, there's more news right after this break.